Hello everybody, this is Mr. O here and welcome back to another supplemental lesson. This will be straight on eyes. Very basic instruction because I want you guys to have a foundation. So this is just some foundation lessons. I will talk a little bit about cartoon anime eyes. As you can see here, I went with the heavy eyelashes and bright eye, but I put a little realistic flair to them. If you look at the eyes, I did try to put a little detail and stuff like that. I'm going to be using my Ticonderoga, my rubbing stump or rubbing stylus, smudging stylus, and ebony pencil to get the darker tones along with an eraser. I might need an eraser especially for this lesson. And so I'm just gonna go over some basic eye. So if you're doing a realistic drawing, I'm going to start with more realistic eyes first. And I'm going to start with a circle. And I kind of went with a C and then went with backward C. As you can see, I do very sketchily. The difference between sketching and drawing is the extra lines. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I draw light enough that it doesn't it's not very hard to erase, and usually this is where I kind of stop for most of it. I usually shade in the bottom and I do the upper eyelid, but now I've been drawing the bottom just a little bit just so I can get that bottom eyelid, and you can see I left a little bit of a space below the circle, and that's natural for eyes. If you look at eyes, and I'm doing my guideline, which is the length. Eyebrows, by the way, if you didn't know this, is about the length of your eyes. I know sometimes anime and stuff like that, they might be a little different depending on who they are. They might be thicker, and yours might be thicker, and that's okay. Now, pupils. Normally they're a little small, but even when I draw realistic, I make them just a little bit larger so I can do a little bit more with the gleam. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here with the drawing, and I'm going to just do the shading. And take the ebony pencil, and I know I'm going to outline a lot of it, but not all of it, okay? Because I want different tones in different areas. And I might just do different pressure, and then I take the smudging stick to start. And here's where I start. I always kind of get the pupil, and I'll probably go back in with the ebony pencil a little bit more and then do some erasing. When I do more realistic eyes, this is what I do. Notice that I'm not really focused on eyelashes. The mistake people kind of make with straight on eyes with eyelashes is the eyelashes kind of blend. You don't always see, unless they have very long eyelashes, you don't really notice. And look at how I'm doing the bottom eyelid now. I'm using the rubbing stick, the smudging stylus, all these different names I keep giving you to do that. And then I'm going to just shadow the white part of the eye just a little bit. You want to make your eyes look a little realistic. Put a little bit of a shadow in there. And I'll go around here. And now I'm going to push a little harder for the eyebrow. Difference between coloring and shading is I still got my technique there, and you can create a little shadow underneath the eye. And if I want to keep things even, I might just take the smudging pencil and rub it on the stylus stick, and I'll just put a little shadow there. Just going on a little bit more. Another thing you can do for detail, now just have a light touch, and you got to turn your paper around. Might be the easiest to begin with. I'm kind of used to it. Put a little there, and I can go around and actually do a little bit more, but I'm going to stop right there. You can probably see on this eye I went both and I didn't meet it in the middle. This eye I went the full length, just to show you varieties of doing the little eye, the little lines in the irises. Sorry. So I'm gonna I want to just show you some gleams, and I'm going to take the eraser, And I'm going to just do a little bit of a gleam there. But notice I'm going to go back to my regular pencil just because it's a little lighter. And I'm going to do 3 gleams in my eye. And they're going to go at an angle versus just doing the C thing. Sometimes you don't even have to hit the pupil. You get into the iris with your eye gleams, and it makes everything look pretty exciting. I'm going to do another eye, and I want you, once again, just watch carefully. I'll go a little faster until I do the eyelashes. And you're going to go, hey, you just did that eyeball a little different. And because I'm not thinking. You know, some of the stuff that we teach you as art teachers, as instructors, when we actually start getting into our normal way of drawing, you'll see that we cut some of the steps out. I want to talk to you about eyelashes on the realistic eye. For me, I just kind of do a female eye. I thicken up this line, and I usually do 3 wicks going out. See that? 1, 2, 3. When I do an anime style, notice how thick those eyelashes are. But that's really thick. That's makeup. And sometimes you don't want to over exaggerate. Now, if I want somebody, I'll maybe do 3 at the bottom, just little swooshes, and notice how that goes. And that's how I do kind of like the female eye for somebody who has long lashes and stuff. Now, if you want to get more anime, it's the same thing. Actually, let me start that again. I'm going to do a large, but more of an oval iris. I always want to say pupil, but this is your pupil right here, the darker part. And I will do that a little bit larger, and then I'll go, and notice the angle, it's not like the half football. And you see how I'm going there? And you still do an eyelid, but you don't do it as much. And now I'm just going to darken this line. I'm not going to add the eyelashes like I did here. I think those are pretty self-explanatory. And once again, for me, even if it's anime, I do the eyebrow, the length of the eye. Okay? And then the shading, I'm going to just pop over here. I'm just going to do the iris and the eyeball itself. I'm going to talk about the gleams here in a second, and you notice that I went all the way around the eye, and then I'm going to smooth this out. I'm going to have to go back in with the eraser anyway, so that's why I'm not worried about it too much. I'm going to smooth this out, and I'm going to make this the darker part of the eye. Circular motions. Sometimes you go back in with the ebony pencil just to make it a little darker. And you see the excess smudge here. This is what I want. I want to just show you it's okay to go back in with an eraser. You don't have to accept your smudges. Especially younger students, they just take everything and they go, well, that's just the way it is. And I'm going to do a nice erasing. And even though I can still see a little bit of my lines, and you see how I'm doing that? And now I'm going to make some lines in my iris. How's that? Is that the beginning of a nice manga eye? Keep these things in mind whether you're doing comic book or realistic drawing a picture of yourself. Guys, thank you very much. Most important thing, you are amazing, and don't be self-conscious about if you're drawing your eyes. You're beautiful. Never forget that.